Well, Houston, we have liftoff? Question mark. It's by no means fit, but with the forecast, we're just gonna work down some ground here, about 10-15 acres behind the shop, and it's a little lighter than the rest of the field that we're in, and just to try out the planter nonetheless, and get a little overlap there, sure. Get distracted on video here. Just this little bit here is where we're gonna work down, and then we're gonna work on trying the planter out and making sure that's all good, and then this sun and a little bit of wind we got today, 70 degrees is what it's supposed to get to. Hopefully it'll come around and by tomorrow, but they were talking rain Monday. Now they backed those chances away. So no, it's not supposed to rain till Wednesday. So we want to make sure the planter's up and that it'll just go. But you can see it is sticking to the tires a little bit, and it is a little on the tacky side. But we've just been, if you set all the way down, you can see your tractor's tracks behind you kind of spinning, and then that causes compaction. So I'm cheating a little bit. I don't have it set all the way in, but just enough to, I don't know, these soybean fields, they do take a little bit longer to dry out just because of them being tan. Oh well, if we get them dark like this, they dry out much faster with the sun. There we are. Stuff's gonna happen. It's happening. But feels pretty good. I just realized that my rotation of work shirts, I think this is the shirt I wore in the last video. I promise I have different shirts, but several of them are just free co-op and seed shirts, because if you're gonna wreck them, hey, that's what they're for, right? That's why they give them to you. But what the farmers are gonna have to decide here, and what we're up against, and it's a stressful time, is the ground's a little, we call it tacky. And what I mean by that, if that doesn't make sense to you, is that it's sticky, it's clumpy, and it's not ideal for planting. But the other thing that's not ideal for planting is waiting past like May 10th, May 15th. We get really nervous with our 102-day corn. And you start thinking about switching seed out, but they want you to plant it, and then it's like, So what farmers are up against, and you hear a lot of guys, and actually Zach Johnson, the millennial farmer, he talked about his agronomist telling him just go. It's better in the ground than it is, just as much as it's sitting in the shop waiting for perfect ground. So now every farmer is having to decide, do I wait for it to be perfect in the hopes that it'll be perfect eventually, or do we just send it, get what we can in the ground because the forecast looks crummy and wet for like the next week and a half, and you just get as much as you can in the ground, because if you wait past that week and a half, what bushels you were going to gain by it being perfect ground, you're going to lose because you're too late in the season. And it's just personal preference now if you're going to wait or not. Most people are probably going to try it a little bit. Today is touch and go. Like I say, we're only going to work down this 15 acres. And past that, this is later part of the field. Past that, it would be like really no-go probably. But we want to make sure the planter is going to function in case we go tomorrow. And everything in case we need to run after whatever we need to run after. This will be the first field trial. And we'll go from there. But tough decisions. I don't envy the bosses right now, or any farmer that has to make that call if they want to just go for it or what. It's not fun. So that's where we're at. That's one thing that everybody seems to do a little different. Some people leave it set like halfway down when they turn around and pivot. I pick it all the way up. It's just easier on the shanks, easier on the shovels, and I just come around and do one lap at the end anyways at normal depth, and then just get rid of that as much as I can, get rid of that compaction. But what you kind of deal with, and it won't maybe come out on camera, but if you look straight behind the tractor, there's some tracks. You can almost make out tracks. I can by the eye. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but when the tractor's heavy and the ground's a little sticky, it kind of, we don't have any wheel slip right now, but just the way how heavy it is, it kind of clumps it up. It'll do the same thing if you're wheel slipping. So here's our wheel slip. We're at 0 right now just because this tractor is heavy enough and it's powerful enough, and we're not necessarily sunk all the way in the ground. but even at full depth, it works this thing just fine. But if you wheel slip and you're spinning in place faster than your actual ground speed is, you'll clump it up because the lugs are smushing the dirt as it's trying to go places. It's pulling up mud and spinning, and you leave tracks like that too. That's just not good for planting, but we will, for today's purposes, it's not that bad. That's why we're cheating it. Boy, this water here has gone down. Consider it's only right there, and it was just the last time I was back in this part of the field, the full, you know, where it's all dark there. But it's going down, but just not quite there to send it through there. But you can see what we're dealing with. It's like this big pond, and then the railroad tracks are holding it back, but there's a culvert that kind of leaks it under. There is field tile we have in here, but that's asking a lot. It's quite the pond that happened over there because they put some field tile in over there too, and kind of help that field along. So it's always been wet in this little spot here, as far as I can remember. But here we are, and I'm just cleaning up my headland areas here, and he's just made about 50 feet. I think he's waiting for me to clean up my headlands on the other end, and then I'm going to start walking along the planter, making sure it's working nicely. This is the life, though. I mean, this tractor's running great, and just kind of tooling along, turning the soil nice and black. That'll help it. Black soil. Obviously, you know, when you wear a black T-shirt in summer, you pull in the heat from the sun. You feel hotter than if you wore a white T-shirt or a tan T-shirt like the soybean field. So this will dry out fast today. There's like a slight wind, maybe 10 miles an hour, and it's gonna get up to 70. Nice. There he goes. It's amazing what this big field equipment and how fast you can work down 10-15 acres, just bang, done. And the advances that's happened over time with farm equipment, and it's slick. So I'm gonna park this out of the way and just start checking the planter. Obviously where it's dark, we're going now, and then that was done maybe an hour ago, but that just goes to show you how fast the sun and the wind are working to dry things out. And yeah, I don't know, it's still pretty tacky. We're starting to get into a couple wet holes here. This is gonna be it. Yeah, the rest of this field is gonna have to wait. It's doing an okay job. This mulch finisher is good for that. It does do a pretty dang good job no matter the conditions, but it's a little touch and go. This sun for today and the clear skies and wind, these are good drying days. It'll pull this field around good today. Maybe try this tomorrow. Some people think that cart affects his turning ability, but it snakes right around wherever he turns. Woo! Running along, just checking to make sure everything was spitting out the liquid it was supposed to. Changed the pump settings a couple times, but we'll give this a shot. We changed the sprocket size on one of the drive sides of the pump, so we have to figure out again where it's got to be. It's a wonderful thing. It's idled back and it's not at full roar. Already got into some mud, and it rained, and if the windows were clean, and dust sticks to wet windows, unfortunately. There we go. It says 103 days. Okay. Easy as this, but we're throwing in some graphite salt powder for lubrication on the seed, helps it go through the planter better. Holy. Backup alarm, we meet again. Still can't get over this, like 4K definition on a backup camera. Well, we got him taken care of. Got him with full of seed, full of starter, mixed into some things that go with the starter. One like kind of microorganism booster thing or whatever it's called. And then some 32% on his cart. And then I'm just making one lap around the whole entire field. It's not bad. There is a little bit of standing water, but I got pretty close to it. And then there's like a 1 acre little chunk in the corner of the field that a waterway breaks off. And I just did that just because it's time consuming. So he can plant that while it's kind of iffy. That way we can focus on the big field while it's good to go. So I gotta wash my windows again. That drives me nuts. It's almost impossible to stay ahead of your dirty windows in this time of year, but I do the best I can. Alright, it's the end of the day here for me on the farm, but I have to go to work tonight, so I'll leave that sit there. But there's just something about a freshly tilled field right up to the grass. I'll just yak at you guys real quick while I'm going down this long field road. Everything seems to be working, knock on some wood. Sailing right along, steering appears to be working. Planters planting, the seed firmers, they're working and adjusting the population. So alright, we just need weather to cooperate a little bit, and we're really going to get after it here. But they're saying a chance of rain. I mean, it's pretty sunny, pretty clear, but they just said the same thing last night, and we only got, like, I barely turned my windshield wipers on at work. So hopefully it's the same thing again tonight, and we can go for a couple days here. And then it does sound like a week of rain starting for sure on Wednesday, but originally it was Monday. We'll take what we can get. So planting's off to a slow roll, but nonetheless, there's some planting videos for you. Hope you enjoyed it. As always, be safe, and we'll check you guys later.